Trabajemos para lograr un mejor medio ambiente para las personas, para el planeta. Durante la última conferencia regional de la FAO celebrada en Georgetown, Guyana, los 33 Estados miembros aprobaron unánimemente 4 prioridades regionales interconectadas que reflejan las 4 mejoras de la FAO. 4 dimensiones que contribuyen a la transformación de los sistemas agroalimentarios y que guiarán a la organización en América Latina y el Caribe hasta 2026. Los alimentos provienen del suelo y del agua. Sin embargo, la región es particularmente vulnerable al cambio climático y a las malas prácticas a nivel productivo que han generado degradación ambiental. Entre 2008 y 2018, las pérdidas en la producción agrícola relacionadas con desastres climáticos en América Latina y el Caribe se estimaron en $29.000 millones. En 2022, los desastres relacionados con el clima afectaron a 17 países. Si no actuamos hoy en la adaptación y mitigación al cambio climático, para el 2030, más de 3 millones de personas podrían alcanzar la pobreza extrema, en un escenario donde la escasez de agua se agravará. Por eso, en la región, la FAO trabaja por un mejor medio ambiente, priorizando la gestión sostenible de los recursos de la tierra, los suelos, el agua y la adaptación al cambio climático. En esa labor, también es clave el resguardo de la biodiversidad para lograr un equilibrio ecológico en los ecosistemas, garantizar la diversidad de alimentos y resguardar la cultura de las poblaciones con entornos ambientalmente sanos. A nivel urbano, las ciudades verdes y los centros de distribución de alimentos con reducción de huella ambiental, incluyendo el uso eficiente de energía y agua, también son clave. A través de esta prioridad regional, se busca proteger, restaurar y promover el uso sostenible de los ecosistemas terrestres, acuáticos y marinos y luchar contra el cambio climático. Trabajemos juntos hacia sistemas alimentarios resilientes para un futuro más sostenible.
Me sacó de agua, como decimos los agricultores, porque nos dieron una semilla que sí, les digo, si no hubiera sido la semilla que me dio el ingeniero, el agrónomo Soto, para mí 60, pues hubiéramos perdido, porque yo sembré más de manzana, un cuarto, y solo pude sacar 16 poquitos, y fue una barbaridad que le invertí. Al final, con la semilla que él me dio, fue admirable y toda la gente se admiró. Y he tenido la bondad de regalar, porque debemos de compartir. Lo poco que se tiene, pues compartirlo con los demás, porque no esperar, porque este año que pasó fue una experiencia para los agricultores. Ya era tiempo de sembrar y no teníamos la semilla. Ahora con una nueva semilla, quizás nos va a beneficiar mejor, porque sembramos a la hora que nosotros queremos. Así es que para mí ha sido una experiencia más, y para todos los que hemos podido repartir las semillas también va a ser otra experiencia más. El tiempo de la que le llamamos el huracán Julia, yo, como le digo, descontroladamente todas las milpas las vi en el suelo. Y ahí me vine a ver y vi que la mía, el pedazo de maíz, no lo había botado. Y ahí todito estaba, y resistente al viento y al tiempo, resistente a la lluvia y todo. Es bien resistente, porque como le digo, uno es por las pobrezas, no le da bien tratamiento en el asunto del abono, pero fue bien ventajoso la semilla esa. Y he repartido a la mayoría de gente que me ha pedido, y todavía tengo unos encargos que todavía tengo que dar, porque se trata de compartir y sacar la buena semilla de ahí para seguir produciéndola. De ahí mantener una semilla que a la hora que queremos sembrar la vamos a sembrar.
Pues bien contenta con esta variedad que hemos estado probando en esta parcela. Es la primera vez que probamos Santa Cruz por Río. Me ha gustado porque ha sido muy resistente al cambio climático, en parte a la sequía y luego a las fuertes lluvias que tuvimos, y ha sido bastante buena. La dulzura del elote ha estado muy bueno también. Y pues ahora estamos ya sacando lo que es el maíz, que está muy bonito también. Vamos a seguir trabajando con él. Y la idea es seguirlo distribuyendo con los demás agricultores, productores de esta zona, ¿verdad? Ojalá que mucha gente más lo siga probando, porque sé que les va a gustar.
Pues el apoyo del centro ha sido mucho beneficioso para la comunidad, porque antes, como también pagaba, que desconocíamos de los técnicos. Ahora como que más acercamiento hay a las comunidades. Eso ayuda, como les digo, a enseñarle más al agricultor, a las técnicas. Y entonces al final se va aprendiendo y se va mejorando en el asunto de la cosecha, el trato al cultivo, plagas, todo eso ayuda. Pero para mí quizás sería beneficioso que siguieran los proyectos, porque ayuda al agricultor, de todas formas, a capacitarlo. Desconocíamos lo que es trabajar la tierra, solo, como dicen, el fósforo y la chapoda. Pero ahora con el nuevo método es diferente. Y quizás, les digo que agradecido, y si pudieran de vuelta pues regresar, quizás sería bueno. Motivar a todos los agricultores porque se trata de cuidar la tierrita, porque al final, si no la cuidamos, no nos va a dar producción. Y de ella vivimos, pues, a ser honestos.
Acá para hablar de la prevención. Siempre que hablemos de políticas públicas que generen prevenir un determinado problema es la mejor estrategia. Hacer esta clase de trabajo demuestra también el interés que tenemos nosotros los técnicos paraguayos, una institución como el SENAVE, que justamente una de sus misiones es evitar que entre algunas claves de oportunidades que nosotros no tenemos, y si llega a buscar la forma de que no genere una afectación al desarrollo del rubro o a la parte económica.
...135 países en el mundo producen hoy plátano y banano. Estamos hablando de más de la mitad del planeta. Uno compara los datos del Censo Agropecuario 2008-2022, es tal vez el cultivo con mayor crecimiento del Paraguay. Más de 40 millones de dólares exportados al año, 16.000 hectáreas, está creciendo, y por eso para nosotros es muy importante trabajar en este ejercicio.
Nos encontramos en Tembiaporá, en Paraguay, celebrando el simulacro regional para los países de la COSABE como parte de la estrategia que se viene desarrollando en América Latina para prepararse, así como la contención de la marsites por fusarium en la raza 4 tropical. Estamos aquí con la SENAVE, productores y además organismos internacionales.
Es muy importante esta simulación que está haciendo el SENAVE, el FAO acá en esta zona, porque de hoy en adelante tenemos que estar preparados para cualquier aparición de enfermedades.
En este ejercicio, los expertos están haciendo énfasis en sintomatología típica, procesos de vigilancia, utilizando las herramientas que proporciona la inteligencia artificial, y también están haciendo mucho énfasis en lo que se debe hacer para erradicar un foco utilizando las medidas de bioseguridad que son esenciales.
Una vida mejor para las personas, sin dejar a nadie atrás. Durante la última conferencia regional de la FAO, celebrada en Georgetown, Guyana, los 33 Estados miembros aprobaron unánimemente 4 prioridades regionales interconectadas que reflejan las 4 mejoras de la FAO. 4 dimensiones que contribuyen a la transformación de los sistemas agroalimentarios y que guiarán a la organización en América Latina y el Caribe hasta 2026. América Latina y el Caribe es la región más desigual, con niveles persistentes de pobreza rural que afectan desproporcionadamente a las mujeres y a los pueblos indígenas. La exposición a múltiples riesgos que aumentan rápidamente está haciendo que los sistemas agroalimentarios sean vulnerables a diferentes crisis y choques, afectando los medios de vida rurales, especialmente para la agricultura familiar. En América Latina y el Caribe, el 25% de la población se identifica como indígena o afrodescendiente, mientras que las mujeres constituyen el 36% de los trabajadores del sistema agroalimentario en el mundo. Por eso en la región, la FAO trabaja por una mejor vida, priorizando una transformación rural inclusiva a través de acciones dirigidas a acelerar la inversión y la cooperación internacional. Erradicar la pobreza rural y reducir las desigualdades es fundamental para impulsar un desarrollo económico que ofrezca oportunidades para todos. Trabajemos juntos para reducir las desigualdades para un futuro más sostenible y resiliente.
En un mundo donde la seguridad alimentaria es esencial, las amenazas fitosanitarias representan un desafío para la región de Centroamérica y México. Por eso, desde la Organización de las Naciones Unidas para la Alimentación y la Agricultura, FAO, en conjunto con el Organismo Internacional Regional de Sanidad Agropecuaria, o IRSA, y expertos mundiales, se realizan simulacros regionales sobre respuesta a la langosta voladora.
Estamos en la parte de Quinchín, una de las zonas donde realmente pasan las mangas de langosta, las que se dirigen hacia Campeche. Lo que hacemos acá es pasar a dar información a los municipios para que con ayuda de ellos y con ayuda de nosotros podamos localizar fácilmente lo que son las mangas de langostas.
Una parte esencial de este esfuerzo es la creación de mapas de riesgo epidemiológico, que ayudan a identificar las áreas más vulnerables y anticipar posibles brotes, así como talleres de análisis del riesgo con mapas epidemiológicos como el principal espacio de intercambio de información y conocimiento para esta región. Este simulacro nos permite evaluar y mejorar nuestros protocolos de actuación, asegurando que cada país esté mejor preparado para una emergencia fitosanitaria.
Mi nombre es Verónica Chávez, trabajo para el Servicio de Protección Agropecuaria en Guatemala por parte de OIRSA y en conjunto con el Ministerio de Agricultura, Ganadería y Alimentación. Actualmente estamos haciendo un simulacro frente a situaciones de emergencia y estamos identificando qué hacer frente a presencia de plaga de langosta centroamericana. Para mí esta invitación ha sido muy importante y significativa, ya que como una persona joven y también como mujer, me ayuda a romper ciertas brechas que en mi país pues actualmente lamentablemente existe, y con todo el conocimiento que yo puedo adquirir en este tipo de actividades también puedo enfrentar ciertas carencias que podemos tener desde el punto de vista del conocimiento y poder crear nuevos proyectos en conjunto con compañeros que ya tengan mucha más experiencia para poder incluir a más gente joven, a más mujeres en este tipo de situaciones.
Con iniciativas como este simulacro, avanzamos hacia sistemas agroalimentarios más resilientes y sostenibles, alineados con los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible.
Para nosotros ha sido de gran importancia la presencia de diferentes organismos nacionales de protección fitosanitaria de la región de Mesoamérica. Este simulacro nos ha permitido articular todas las estrategias para el manejo en la langosta centroamericana. Y de esta manera poder continuar las acciones enfocadas fundamentalmente bajo la prevención del riesgo fitosanitario en nuestra región, así como las mejores estrategias de manejo que hemos venido trabajando también esta semana diferentes escenarios en las distintas estrategias, teniendo en cuenta los temas relacionados con el cambio climático hacia la gestión de riesgos, de manera que finalmente estamos articulando las 4 mejoras bajo el marco estratégico de la FAO para esta agenda de una salud.
Cinco claves para combatir la resistencia a los antimicrobianos, también conocida como RAM. Políticas para el combate contra la RAM bajo el enfoque Una sola salud. Esto significa promover el abordaje integrado de la salud de las personas, animales y del medio ambiente. Aumentar el financiamiento. Es fundamental asignar más recursos para acciones efectivas en la lucha contra la resistencia antimicrobiana. Mejorar los sistemas de vigilancia y compartir datos. Invertir en monitoreo eficaz es vital para entender y así combatir la resistencia antimicrobiana. Reforzar la normativa y la legislación. Establecer leyes más estrictas sobre el uso y eliminación de antimicrobianos es clave para proteger el medio ambiente. Apoyar el trabajo multisectorial. La colaboración entre ministerios, sociedad civil y el sector privado es esencial para generar conciencia y cambiar comportamientos, promoviendo el uso de antibióticos bajo la supervisión profesional médica o veterinaria. Es hora de actuar. Comparte este video, infórmate y únete al combate contra la resistencia a los antimicrobianos. Juntos podemos hacer la diferencia.
Necesitamos una mejor nutrición para las personas, para el planeta. Durante la última conferencia regional de la FAO, celebrada en Georgetown, Guyana, los 33 Estados miembros aprobaron unánimemente 4 prioridades regionales interconectadas que reflejan las 4 mejoras de la FAO. 4 dimensiones que contribuyen a la transformación de los sistemas agroalimentarios y que guiarán a la organización en América Latina y el Caribe hasta 2026. La región enfrenta desafíos significativos para erradicar el hambre y la malnutrición. Aunque el número de personas que sufren hambre disminuyó ligeramente en 2023, 41 millones de personas en la región aún la sufren. América Latina y el Caribe registran el costo más alto de una dieta saludable en comparación con los promedios mundiales. El estimado de $4,56 por persona por día significa que 1 de cada 4 personas no puede permitirse una dieta saludable. Por eso en la región, la FAO trabaja por una mejor nutrición, priorizando poner fin al hambre y lograr la seguridad alimentaria y la nutrición sin dejar a nadie atrás. La transición hacia dietas saludables y una mejor seguridad alimentaria para los más vulnerables es una prioridad en la región. Trabajemos juntos por la seguridad alimentaria y la nutrición para un futuro más brillante.
5 claves para entender la ganadería sostenible. América Latina y el Caribe mantiene el 28% de la producción animal global. El sector ganadero se enfrenta a retos complejos como la degradación del medio ambiente, la pérdida de biodiversidad y los efectos de la crisis climática. La demanda mundial de carne, productos lácteos y huevos aumentará 20% al 2050, lo que requerirá abordar desafíos de una producción adaptada a los ecosistemas. La ganadería es vital en los medios de vida del 64,5% de la población rural en América Latina y el Caribe. Además, ocupa el 84,5% del suelo agrícola de la región. En el mundo hay 770 millones de personas que sobreviven con menos de $1,90 por día. Aproximadamente la mitad depende directamente de la ganadería para su sustento. Satisfacer la creciente demanda de proteína de origen animal conservando el medio ambiente requiere prácticas innovadoras y tecnologías que respeten el entorno natural. La ganadería debe avanzar hacia un modelo sostenible implementando prácticas que favorezcan la captura de carbono y la preservación de la biodiversidad, favoreciendo a la par la protección y restauración de los ecosistemas. Es hora de actuar. La actividad ganadera puede contribuir con soluciones integrales a enfrentar el cambio climático, la inseguridad alimentaria o la degradación de los ecosistemas.
Em 2012, a Assembleia General das Nações Unidas proclamou o Ano Internacional das Cooperativas como forma de reconhecer seu papel essencial na economia global e no desenvolvimento sustentável. Em um gesto significativo, además, se ha declarado 2025 como o Ano Internacional das Cooperativas. A FAO ha identificado as cooperativas como aliados clave nessa luta, destacando a importância da agricultura familiar na cadeia agroalimentar. A Oficina Regional da FAO trabalha arduamente na renda cooperativa para transformar os sistemas agroalimentários. Com mais de 3 milhões de cooperativas no mundo e 28 mil em América Latina e o Caribe, o impacto desse modelo é indiscutível. Essas cooperativas reúnem a 6 milhões de cooperados, potenciando o empreendimento, o empoderamento econômico e promovendo o desenvolvimento sustentável e inclusivo. A importância das cooperativas radica em sua capacidade para estimular a governança e o desenvolvimento territorial, sendo motores para a transformação dos sistemas agroalimentários. A FAO ha colaborado com diversas organizações especialistas para apresentar a Lei Modelo para Cooperativas Agroalimentárias ante o Latino. Asimismo, com a Aliança Cooperativa Internacional, LACE, celebramos mais de 15 anos de trabalho conjunto fortalecendo o setor. O futuro da segurança alimentar e o desenvolvimento sustentável em nossa região depende em grande medida do fortalecimento e apoio às cooperativas como parte de uma série de instâncias em las que devemos continuar trabalhando por um futuro melhor para todas e para todos.
Necesitamos una mejor producción para las personas, para el planeta. Durante la última conferencia regional de la FAO celebrada en Georgetown, Guyana, los 33 Estados miembros aprobaron unánimemente 4 prioridades regionales interconectadas que reflejan las 4 mejoras de la FAO, 4 dimensiones que contribuyen a la transformación de los sistemas agroalimentarios y que guiarán a la organización en América Latina y el Caribe hasta 2026. Nuestra región aporta el 14% de la producción mundial de alimentos. Sin embargo, el 33% de las tierras cultivables están moderada y altamente degradadas, y la pérdida de más del 40% de la producción se relaciona con plagas y enfermedades. La FAO trabaja por una mejor producción en la región, priorizando una producción eficiente, inclusiva y sostenible, donde se necesita abordar integralmente las dimensiones ambiental, económica y social de la producción agropecuaria, forestal, de la pesca y de la acuicultura. Trabajemos juntos hacia una producción sostenible, sin dejar a nadie atrás.
El proyecto Cooperación Sur-Sur, Transformación Digital e Innovación en la Agricultura concluye su implementación con resultados clave que han impulsado la mejora de los medios de vida rurales en América Latina y el Caribe. El proyecto involucró a 12 países de la región: Argentina, Barbados, Chile, Costa Rica, Cuba, Guyana, Jamaica, México, Panamá, Surinam, Trinidad y Tobago y Uruguay. Durante su implementación, hubo un total de 800 personas de áreas rurales que participaron directamente del proyecto, mientras que más de 4.000 se beneficiaron de manera indirecta. Además, se realizaron más de 70 capacitaciones en alfabetización digital, se entregaron más de 400 equipos tecnológicos como tablets, drones y computadores, y se promovió el trabajo colaborativo con más de 50 entidades. Este proyecto, liderado por la Organización de las Naciones Unidas para la Alimentación y la Agricultura, la República Popular China y la Comunidad de Estados Latinoamericanos y Caribeños, ha reflejado el compromiso y la importancia de promover la cooperación entre los países del sur global. También ha demostrado que a través de una transformación digital inclusiva en los sectores rurales es posible alcanzar mejores sistemas agroalimentarios que permitan una mejor producción, una mejor nutrición, un mejor medio ambiente y una vida mejor, sin dejar a nadie atrás.
Trabajemos
su participación.
Muy buenos días a todas y todos.
Good
Es un honor
morning
para
to
mí
all of you. It is an honor for me to welcome you to this official launch of the Regional Platform for the Empowerment of Rural Women. A space that's promoted by FAO by the acceleration of the empowerment of environmental sustainability. We are being witness of a significant achievement, work that's technical and with all the rural women of the region. Behind each content, there are teams that have dedicated their experience to transform realities through action, collaboration. We celebrate with emotion this achievement because we know this platform is a starting point for the empowerment of rural women, visibilizing their support, involvement with concrete participation with a more sustainable, inclusive development for them. We have the opportunity today to learn more about this platform with the support of protagonist women in the field and how to continue developing this platform collectively. We have simultaneous interpreting from Spanish into English, and you can change it at the bottom right side of your FAO Americans platform. We will receive your Q&A through YouTube and through the platform, which will be tackled at the end of this event. From the agenda group, we would like to thank Maximiliano Valencia and Esteban Munoz, who is a consultant in programming and web development at the regional level, for his work and his commitment that has made this platform a reality. To begin, I would like to introduce you to Luis Bedusky, who is the Senior Policy Officer of FAO Regional Office for Latin America and the Caribbean, who will give us some opening welcoming words. Thank you very much for the pleasure of being with you. Good morning to all of you. Honestly, it is an honor to be here with you with such an important platform at the regional level for rural women. There is an initiative that is strategic in nature, which is promoted by FAO to support technical and community organizations to progress in gender matters in our Latin America and the Caribbean. Within the region, rural women carry out a fundamental role for the achievement of nutrition and promoting the conservation of biodiversity, generating foods, and also understanding climate change. In addition, women continue to be under structural situation which restrict their development, such as a non-access to land, financing, services. In addition, they suffer with an overload of unpaid jobs. These gaps affect the sustainability and the inclusion of agri-food systems. Therefore, this is a significant obstacle for the achievement of a sustainable development goals. Finalizing and eliminating these gaps is fundamental to develop and advance as a sustainable future. Therefore, the declaration of 2026 as the International Year of Agriculture on behalf of United Nations is a key opportunity to create activities in favor of the empowerment of rural women. Under this global organization, tackling the structural limitations that rural women's Afro-descendants, indigenous women, FAO has developed. And today, we are so delighted to launch this platform at the regional level for the empowerment of rural women. This is a strategic tool. This is designed to strengthening leaderships, the rights of indigenous rural women, indigenous Afro descendants, and also to facilitate access to knowledge, resources, and development. It responds to the needs to have technical solutions, methodologies, and standards that will support the implementation of public policies and inclusive policies that will recognize the fundamental role of women, rural women, and the restructuring of biosystems, climate change, and the transformation of agri-food systems. You will see throughout these presentations, it is highly structured with the roadmap of the International Year of Agriculture. And beyond just a symbol web presentation, it is a real ecosystem of tools that will accelerate the implementation of technical resources for rural territories. This platform is a key role that plays in that which relates to collective cooperation and inclusion, and will allow us to articulate our efforts in the region and progress towards agri-food systems more just and more sustainable. And so I'm inviting all of you to participate and learn more about this initiative in this event and to become a part of this for the improvement of all rural women of Latin America and the Caribbean without leaving anyone behind. Thank you very much. Thank you, Luis, for this platform as a key tool to change the rural women and the collective participation. And we have Erika Valerio, who is a gender specialist at FAO, who will give us some opening remarks.
I will leave it in English. I'm sorry. So good morning, good afternoon, and welcome everyone. So it's a true honor to be with you today for the launch of this regional platform for the empowerment of rural women in Latin America and Caribbean. This is an initiative that marks a significant milestone in our ongoing efforts towards gender equality, food security, and also in an inclusive and sustainable agri-food systems. So, as mentioned before, across the world, rural women in all their diversity, including indigenous, Afro-descendants, young and elder, they are the backbone of our rural communities, of our rural societies. So they grow our food, safeguard biodiversity, and strengthen resilience against climate change. But yet, despite their vital role, they still face barriers to access land, innovation, training, finance, and also to access a seat in the decision-making tables. So too often their potential goes untapped, unseen, and scattered. So today we take a step forward in the region to bridge this gap. So by launching this multilingual digital platform, it's important to see this platform not just as a tool, but also see it as a bridge, a bridge between the knowledge of rural women, the knowledge that they already have, and the training that they need, they seek, a bridge between grassroots innovations and policy dialogue, and also a bridge between today's challenge and the 2026 International Year of a Women Farmer. So this is a powerful momentum to recognize, to give visibility and strengthen the contributions of rural women across the globe. So what makes this platform especially meaningful is that it was also developed using transformative and intersectional gender approach. It actively supports multi-stakeholders collaboration, which promote a more meaningful participation of diverse rural women, diverse stakeholders. And also, it's important to see this platform as a practical resource for all our partners. For example, for governments, it's a tool to design, support design and implementation of inclusive public policies. For civil society, it amplifies and scales effective local solutions. And for rural women themselves, it's a dedicated space to learn, to collaborate, and to lead. So today's launch reflects a dedicated efforts of our regional gender team. So the hard work and commitment have made this initiative possible. So congratulations. And as we move forward together, let's continue to build this connection, sharing success stories and ensure that rural women has the opportunity to lead, grow, and also thrive in their setting. So thank you very much for being here today. And I wish you all an inspiring and productive event. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Erika, por tus palabras y por recordarnos que esta
Thank you, Erika, for this words. This is a valid platform for the strengthening of rural women in all their diversity. Thank you very much for your participation and for signaling the path of the agricultural woman in the agricultural year 2026. For this platform, we would like to welcome our next speaker, who is involved in the Catalina Ivanovic, the Rural Women Empowerment Specialist, the technical and policy relevance link of the program. She's going to tell us a little bit why it is necessary to have a regional platform focused on empowering rural women. Please, Catalina, the floor is yours. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure, a true pleasure, to be able to launch this platform today. As a team, we are overwhelmingly happy. For FAO, gender equality is at the core to overcome the food security for everyone in equal standards. Within this context, in the implementation of a gender equality for Latin America and the priority of the economic empowerment of women, BL1, and also different tools and efforts by the organization, we double our intention to progress towards a scenario where gender gaps are reduced and will not end up affecting the concrete life of rural women, and therefore we can better contribute to sustainable development. In that which relates to the program in the acceleration of rural women empowerment and environmental ecosystem restoration. This is a fundamental work that has taken place from 2024 to 2025, 2 years. It has a regional profile and a more profound pilot process with different tools that we hope will be utilized by the governments and rural women of the entire region. We're working more directly with Honduras and Dominican Republic. Next, I would like to state also that given our objective is to recognize the local producers to contribute and benefit from the economic return, the biodiversity, and the ecosystem restoration. We're working with different stakeholders, with civil society, with the rural women, with the academia, so that we may be able to develop sustainable, resilient, and inclusive processes centering around indigenous women, Afro-descending women, and youth in rural contexts. The objective of this project is to develop awareness and governmental involvement to generate offer that will strengthen the women's empowerment in the biodiversity and restoration of ecosystems. We are also implementing on-site or field working with communities, schools in a way, with women, men, and children, so that we can undergo the
negativamente el empoderamiento económico.
Allowance of women to reach economic independence in order to restore ecosystems and the conservation of biodiversity. So as a objective number 3, we want to develop directives that are standard and tools geared towards a strengthening and certify and underline in a market sustainable production practices which are developed by rural women, and in addition, um, contribute to biodiversity from the moment we clearly show them in the market and allow them to have inclusive access and a positioning in the markets that are more visible. So let's go to the next one, please. So we want to also disseminate good practices, lessons learned, and outstanding cases in strategic fora such as CELAC, the Regional FAO Conference, the Mercosur, CARICOM, and SICA. And also, we're finally developing and implementing the virtual platform for continuous support for countries for the strengthening of this agenda and facilitating initiatives in the South-South cooperations in the reality of rural women. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Honduras and Dominican Republic. As I was saying, we're working with transformative gender focuses and intersectionality. We realize that women in the countryside are in a different territory. They have a particular situations given their age range, their ethnic group, the manner in which they produce will affect at the end of the day, the challenges that they face, and they will also present different capacities and resources. So the work has to be on site, and these are transformative gender schools. They work profoundly with the communities and involve men, women, and children in the process. We work with value chains in inclusive agri-food systems, supporting the community involvement, the understanding the challenges, providing solutions, and that go with government-led programs. So going into the detail around the regional platform itself for the empowerment of rural women, this is an innovative environment for training and collaboration. It allows us to provide an offer of access to facilitate information that is reliable with good practices to strengthen the collective learning. There's a great deal of information there and tools for governments, for civil society. There are courses, material that provide us with the promotion of collaboration amongst key players in these networks related to workspaces and co-creation. We want to make visible the populations and human groups that are underrepresented and strengthen them, such as the gender aspect. How do we tackle and reduce gender differences, the environment, and rural youth? We want them to be rural youth are at the core of this process also. We're also promoting the social innovation and sustainable development through transforming focuses, and we also mention as alternative focuses, which considers the implementation of comprehensive involvement of having women at the center of these developments. And we understand this is absolutely necessary. So here we are looking at the change theory. We need to work to integrate the aspect of gender issue in 4 areas: home, community, at the national and regional level. We want to tackle the loss of biodiversity and degradation of ecosystems from the standpoint of the empowerment of rural women. We believe that these topics, jointly, systemically tackled, will provide solutions and more effective opportunities and long-lasting. We also want to provide a recognition and visibility of contributions towards rural producers and biodiversity conservation and restoration of ecosystems. This project allows to tackle these aspects directly and how to take on the different challenges based on the different articulations to revitalize the practices that do not only empower them economically, but also allow us to complete and continue towards sustainable development. From the same standpoint, I would like to center the development of national policies from alliances, fora, and international events towards this sustainable and inclusive and more just environment. The platform, therefore, offers experiences that are successful and technical experiences to facilitate collaboration, the active participation of rural women based on the policies, but are also key and very useful for progress in matters of the government.
Likewise, and as a complement to the platform itself, we have work that is being conducted to engage in advocacy with online digital tools and training so that from the Latin American region and the Caribbean, we have greater knowledge and greater capabilities to put in place public policies to effectively contribute to the empowerment of rural women and also contribute towards environmental sustainability. The platform contains the work. It presents us in an organized manner and also with a design that is easy to use. Well, it has been a pleasure to share with you a little bit more of the context in which the platform is being made available. And now I'd like to give back the floor to Yuni. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gata, for introducing the program for the acceleration of the empowerment of rural women and environmental sustainability. Thank you for pointing out the importance of having this tool available for the region. Now, we'd like to introduce you the platform for the empowerment of rural women. So please, let's play the video.
La Organización de las Naciones Unidas para la Alimentación y la Agricultura, FAO, presenta la Plataforma Regional para el Empoderamiento de las Mujeres Rurales, una herramienta estratégica para fortalecer la cooperación regional y apoyar el desarrollo de políticas públicas inclusivas, orientada a promover los liderazgos, capacidades y derechos de las mujeres rurales, indígenas, afrodescendientes y jóvenes en América Latina y el Caribe. Se trata de un espacio digital multilingüe y accesible desarrollado en el marco del Programa de Aceleración del Empoderamiento de las Mujeres Rurales y la Sostenibilidad Ambiental, con funcionalidades que impulsan el aprendizaje, el intercambio de saberes, la articulación de actores y el acceso a recursos claves para la toma de decisiones. A pesar de su papel fundamental en la seguridad alimentaria, la conservación de la biodiversidad y la resiliencia climática, las mujeres rurales siguen enfrentando profundas desigualdades estructurales. Con un enfoque de género transformador e interseccional, la plataforma se posiciona como una respuesta técnica y política a estos desafíos, promoviendo la acción basada en evidencia, la cooperación multiactor y la formulación de políticas más justas e inclusivas. Está dirigida a toda la diversidad de mujeres rurales y también a autoridades, técnicos de gobierno, organizaciones de la sociedad civil, organismos de cooperación y centros de investigación. A través de una navegación intuitiva, la plataforma permite acceder a cursos de capacitación, formación gratuita y especializada para promover la igualdad de género en los sistemas agroalimentarios. A través de su integración con FAO Campus, la plataforma ofrece acceso directo a una amplia oferta formativa en línea en distintos idiomas y sin costo. Biblioteca, herramientas clave para la formulación de políticas. Un espacio técnico diseñado para fortalecer la toma de decisiones y la acción pública con enfoque de género. La biblioteca incluye informes regionales, guías prácticas, herramientas de diagnóstico y fichas técnicas sobre políticas públicas destacadas. Con evidencia de impacto en la reducción de brechas de género, la inclusión socioeconómica, el ejercicio pleno de sus derechos y la participación efectiva de las mujeres rurales en la toma de decisiones. Todos los recursos están disponibles para descarga gratuita y pueden ser utilizados en procesos formativos, de planificación, incidencia política o trabajo comunitario. Buenas prácticas y experiencias exitosas. Historias que inspiran, transforman y enseñan. La plataforma pone a disposición una colección de experiencias que evidencian el impacto del liderazgo de las mujeres rurales en la transformación de sus territorios. Se trata de iniciativas impulsadas por mujeres, organizaciones de base, instituciones públicas y alianzas multiactor, que con el acompañamiento técnico de la FAO y otros socios han logrado avances significativos en el acceso a recursos productivos, el fortalecimiento de capacidades, la participación política, la innovación y la resiliencia frente al cambio climático. Este espacio busca visibilizar su rol estratégico en el desarrollo sostenible e impulsar el intercambio horizontal de conocimientos entre comunidades, instituciones y países de América Latina y el Caribe. Noticias. Esta sección reúne noticias, artículos de opinión y entrevistas sobre los principales hitos, desafíos y oportunidades relacionados con la igualdad de género en los sistemas agroalimentarios de América Latina y el Caribe. Este espacio permite dar seguimiento a los avances de la agenda de género en el ámbito rural, incluyendo reformas legislativas, políticas públicas innovadoras, iniciativas comunitarias, procesos de movilización social y pronunciamientos adoptados en espacios regionales e internacionales. Eventos, espacios de articulación regional para el empoderamiento de las mujeres rurales. La plataforma será sede de eventos virtuales concebidos como instancias estratégicas de aprendizaje colectivo, diálogo político y fortalecimiento de capacidades. Estos espacios multiactor fomentarán el intercambio de saberes, la construcción colectiva de soluciones y la generación de consensos en torno a temas clave como el acceso a la tierra, los cuidados, la resiliencia climática, la innovación y el liderazgo. Los eventos se desarrollarán directamente en la plataforma con acceso a participación en vivo y contenido disponible de forma asincrónica, grabaciones y materiales complementarios. Una biblioteca viva de aprendizaje e incidencia donde se posicionarán prioridades regionales, se fortalecerán las alianzas y se promoverá una gobernanza más participativa e inclusiva. La plataforma alberga el sitio oficial de la campaña Mujeres Rurales, Mujeres con Derechos, una iniciativa impulsada por la FAO en alianza con más de 35 instituciones de gobierno, sociedad civil, agencias de las Naciones Unidas, academia y cooperación regional que visibilizan el rol transformador de las mujeres rurales, indígenas, afrodescendientes y jóvenes en América Latina y el Caribe. Funciona como un punto de encuentro para sumar esfuerzos, compartir experiencias, contenidos y fortalecer alianzas. Ofrece materiales editables, mensajes claves, contenidos audiovisuales y publicaciones para impulsar acciones de comunicación e incidencia en torno a los derechos de las mujeres rurales. A través de los hashtags Mujeres Rurales, Mujeres con Derechos, se articula una red de difusión y colaboración digital a escala regional. un espacio colaborativo que impulsa cambios concretos hacia la igualdad de género en los territorios rurales y un motor para posicionar sus derechos en la agenda pública. Esta plataforma es parte de la hoja de ruta hacia el Año Internacional de la Agricultura en 2026 y constituye un pilar para impulsar compromisos políticos y técnicos que contribuyan a cerrar brechas, garantizar la autonomía de las mujeres rurales y avanzar hacia sistemas agroalimentarios sostenibles, inclusivos y resilientes. Te invitamos a explorarla, compartirla y utilizarla. El empoderamiento de las mujeres rurales es una responsabilidad colectiva y esta plataforma es un paso más hacia ese objetivo. Con conocimiento, articulación y voluntad política, es posible avanzar hacia un futuro más justo y sostenible, sin dejar a nadie atrás.
Muchas gracias al equipo por este amplio recorrido que muestra a fondo las
Thank you so much to
funcionalidades
the
que
team
integra
for
esta
the
nueva
video
plataforma.
that shares
A
the different
continuación, damos el
functionalities
paso
of
al
the
panel
platform.
Innovación y
Now
Buenas
we are going to
Prácticas
move
para
on
el
to the panel of
Empoderamiento
innovation and
Integral
good
de las Mujeres
practices
Rurales,
for
que
the
será moderado por
comprehensive
Claudia Brito,
empowerment
nuestra
of rural
oficial de
women. It will
Políticas,
be
experta en
moderated by
género,
Claudia
sistemas
Brito,
sociales
our
e
expert in
institucionales,
gender,
a quien
social,
doy
and
paso para
institutional
inaugurar el
systems.
panel y
I'd like to give
presentarles a
her the
nuestras
floor to
invitadas e
open the panel
invitados.
and to
Pero
introduce us
antes,
to
recordarles que pueden ir
our
dejando sus preguntas.
speakers. Before that, I'd like to remind you that you can use the YouTube chat box to leave your questions. Claudia, please, the floor is yours. Thank you, June. Good morning, everyone. It is a day filled with joy for the FAO because here we already have the platform up and running for all the different stakeholders that have been mentioned here to use it, but also as a tool that we hope will become a point of reference in the region for collaboration in terms of promoting the scalability of the work that women have been doing, especially rural women in our region, with regards to agri-food systems. Now I have the pleasure of introducing this panel that has the purpose of giving us a clear idea regarding the actions and the activities that the platform is going to be promoting. And the goal of this panel, the objective here is to promote innovation and to address good practices for the overall empowerment of rural women. And we're going to share with some people, women especially, and colleagues that are online with us today in this activity. And we are going to, and of course, the goal would be to inspire, mobilize, and connect more people with these experiences that we are going to be sharing today so that the good practices are given visibility and that they are adapted to different contexts in our region. Without further ado, I have the pleasure of introducing you to the panel members that are women, that are leaders of our communities in the region, and also colleagues here. We also have Adriana Orgolina, our colleague from FAO, that will be sharing with us a very, very good experience that was used for the platform and that gave us a great learning opportunity. Probably many of you are now wondering about the pictures or the images in the platform, and I'd like to give credit to a great illustrator in Chile, Mrs. Paloma Valdivia, that was a person that did all the work that you saw in the pictures, the drawings, the illustrations. Thank you, Paloma. I'm sure that she's online. And thank you to the gender team in the regional office because they made a huge effort so that today we are able to finally launch this tool. Our panel members are going to be Kian Rai Rupayan, Adriana Gregolin, Saverio Estasi, and Susana Romero. Each panel member will have 5 minutes to share with us their experience. All the experiences are directly related to the reality of rural women and rural communities in Latin America. And as UNICEF would like to encourage the audience to give or to include their questions and comments online because they will be taken at the end of the panel. I think that we are having technical issues, I'm being told. We are going to ask for technical assistance at the moment. Maybe we are going to change the microphone. Okay, testing with a different microphone. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me, everyone? Yes, great. Thank you. It seems to be that it was the microphone that it was not working. But in any case, each of the panel members will have 5 minutes, as I mentioned earlier. Each panel member will have 5 minutes to share their experiences, their outlook on the platform, and we would like to encourage the audience participating today through the different platforms and channels of communications of FAO to leave their comments and questions to address them at the end. And I'd like to start with Kian Rai Rupayan, who is a young Mapuche coder. She is 19 and she created Cumente, which is a website that combines traditional medicine and technology to support the mental health of women and girls in her community. She is co-founder of Wetekete. Well, I'd like to ask you, Kuyenrai, to please correct my pronunciation. This is an organization that promotes the participation of indigenous young women in issues related to climate change. Also, she has represented Chile in international competitions of robotics as a national representative in 2014 in First Global. She was a finalist in the hackathon of the UN, and she was the youngest person in Chile in We the Woman at the UN, and she gave the closing remarks in that activity. She has been involved in different activities, different workshops from the area of female empowerment in the STEM areas. And I have two questions for you. Let's maybe summarize this. Could you please briefly describe the experience that you have had as a coder and your proposal with the project Cumente that already has a global impact, and which could be or how could this platform serve us in this world of the STEM disciplines? Hi, hello, greetings in Mapuche language. As the Lamien said, I am 19. I am a Mapuche coder. I am self-taught coder using the Technovision Girls program internationally, and Humente is the platform that basically aims at combining technology and mental health in order to give it an indigenous approach that was not present in the market and it had never been acknowledged internationally because the indigenous peoples have traditional medicine that works differently than the traditional Western medicine practices. So it's been a long journey with Cumente. We have gone to different indigenous meetings, technological meetings. I presented in 2022 in a stand, and then in 2023, I was one of the main speakers with only 16 years of age, and that has been a great experience for me as a young indigenous woman in the capital city of Chile. Being here in Santiago, in the capital city of Chile, it has been a benefit, personally speaking, because it does give you more opportunities. I work with children to address the disciplines of STEM to close the elitist gap that is out there, particularly in Chile. In most of the areas, there are young people that have money to have access to the workers and the classes. And I want to give access to all children, regardless of the economic conditions, because I grew up in vulnerability too. I am an indigenous young person. I live in an area where the population is not of the highest income. So my purpose with Cumente and everything that I do is to promote the participation of indigenous children and children overall, for them to step into the STEM disciplines, to have a multi-stakeholder work, to prevent that it's always the same people. And regarding the platform, I had the opportunity to look at it. My expectations are high because the design of the platform, in my opinion at least, is very inclusive. It contains so many different things, and I think that you were able to include everything that a platform needed to have access from different devices and to be user-friendly for all people. My only suggestion would be that for the cell phone version or for the smaller screen version, the um, menus that are the menus are more accessible for those people that are not necessarily so tech savvy, so that people have an easier time accessing the different resources and participating together regardless of the territory where we are, the internet connection, nor the devices to our hands. Thank you so much, and thank you for your recommendations, because yes, precisely, the platform does need to be more and more inclusive, and it is a commitment of the FAO too, so that we actually achieve one of our main target audiences, which is rural women, in all of the diversity of that group. Your experience actually has been an experience that inspires us, and it inspires young women, young indigenous women in the region. And we wanted to invite you precisely because of that, because we believe that this points of reference, such as yourself, are very important for young girls, for teenagers, and for young women to know that they do have a possibility of having an impact over their communities, also nationally and globally. Thank you so much, Rupayen. And at some point, you will have to teach me to specifically and correctly pronounce the words that describe your project in your language. Thank you. Now I'd like to give the floor to Adriana Gregolin. And please do not leave, because it could be that we have questions from the audience or comments, and it would be very good that you could take those questions later. So Adriana Gregolin, a very dear colleague, agronomist with a PhD, with a master's degree, and in the last 12 years, she has been the regional coordinator of a cooperation project, an international cooperation project with a Brazilian corporation, well known as Mas Algodón, supporting 6 countries in Latin America for the strengthening of family farming of cotton. And she learned from her grandmother and mother the value of rural women and the co-creation of development with sustainability. But above all, Adriana has been a collaborator, she has been the co-creator, she has been an accomplice of the gender work and the work that has been conducted to empower women here at FAO across the region. So Adriana, welcome. And I have 2 questions for you, just like I asked our previous speaker, Rukayen. I'd like to ask you to please answer these 2 questions. Which would be one of the innovations of the Cotton Project that were key for the success of the project? And what would be a key space or instance that you would highlight with the partnership of the with the Brazilian government, and how it has had an impact over public policies in the region? Okay, thank you, Claudia. First of all, congratulations to the entire team, the entire gender team of the FAO, and collaborators for this launch of the platform. It is a beautiful platform, and I'd like to take the opportunity on behalf of Rukayen. I want to welcome everybody who is attending this event. I'm very happy. Thank you so much for the invitation. And without further ado, I think that in summary, the innovations, right, Claudia? Which were some of the innovations of this program, Más Algodón, that we believe were key for the success of the project? I would like to separate this into two parts. First, the process, and secondly, the technical part, right? Regarding the process, I would say that this is horizontal cooperation, which is in a three-party way in which we have prioritized the effective participation of the different stakeholders with affirmative actions for the young people, which are the future, of course. Young people from rural areas, from urban areas, in any area of production, including the public entities, private entities, universities. There are really multiple stakeholders, and that makes a huge difference whenever you want to put in place any type of initiative. And we made a huge effort to work in this way. So we included production, research, different associations, cooperatives, companies from the textile industry, and of course the FAO in this perspective of following the process was also involved, and we wanted to put in place or play a position or a role of facilitator in the implementation of the project. I think that that would be the greatest value to facilitate, to create bridges, connections between the different stakeholders of the countries that were participating regarding those that were receiving and those that were offering cooperation. And now, innovation in technical terms, we made a huge effort with different institutions, with different internal partners of the FAO, like the gender area of the FAO, as well as other regional initiatives back then and later with the four major improvements that we wanted to put in place simultaneously to generate good practices along the entire value chain of the agri-food system of cotton, because cotton is not just cotton. When we talk about cotton and when we talk about family farming, we talk about entire agri-food systems because cotton and the families work also producing foods. So there's definitely an integrated system in place. And with that, the good practices were land management, water management, better management of seeds, harvesting, processing of cotton, development of technologies that were adapted to the realities of smaller farmers with smaller machineries, also the development of a production line to harvest cotton, because that is a work of great physical effort, particularly done by women and young people. So the concern of developing equipments to harvest cotton, to do proper land management, to manage inputs, and also, we conducted an effort to work on digital tools like certifications, traceability of cotton, blockchain technology, applications, links for different communities to exchange knowledge. We conducted training, workshops, studies among those in the sector of cotton. Also, we formalized the network of women of cotton, and now we have a network with over 300 participants, women that were given visibility through the network. They were contacted and are now part of a network. And this idea that cotton is part of an agri-food system where fiber and other products are also useful to feed humans and also the cattle, which is in the land plots of land of the families. And with that, we were able to achieve the consolidation of diversified production systems. And the main approach was on food security and nutritional security for the families, and which would be the key aspect to highlight in this partnership, in this project of international cooperation and its impact over public policies in the region. We reached an agreement with the Brazilian government from the very beginning through the Brazilian Agency of Cooperation that the project Más Algodón could serve as a tool to share technologies, knowledge, and public policies from Brazil towards other countries that are partners. Of course, if the policies are successful, they should be shared with other countries. And this is how we are putting it in place and how we have been doing it for the last 13 years. And from that perspective, a number of policies have been implemented by other countries regarding research for pest control, regarding sharing technical assistance, regarding cooperativism, certification of products, agroecology, organic production, among others, and also the support of international cooperation for national programs within the cotton programs of Bolivia and Peru, where the component of gender, women, is present. This awareness of working in a differentiated manner with women. So the fact that we have engaged in cooperation, sharing with the countries all the parts of the project is something that put the emphasis on working with women and youth, moving forward in the proposal and creation of public policies. And of course, public policies are key to create sustainable processes in the rural areas without a doubt. You have 1 minute left, please. So the networks, the instances for dialogue and exchange are strategies that are used as input for public policies without a doubt. And definitely the work needs to be done putting women at the core. So once again, congratulations and thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Adriana. There's so much to be said regarding the work.
Thank you very much. For women in the cotton industry, there's a specific product of the project which we would like to strengthen, which is this network of women in cotton production in that which relates to craft work. It is a topic that empowers women and among which there is a traditional knowledge that we cannot allow it to be lost. Therefore, thank you very much, Adriana, for your participation. And I would like to now go to Chef Saverio Stasi, a Dominican compatriot who is considered a referral of cuisine in the Dominican Republic. It is greatly valued by the lovers and knowledge of gastronomy. His creativity to create food for the use of main food and the all the information by Chef Saverio shows his success and innovative way of agri-food system and services to make the consumer of his food. He is a promoter and co-creator and executor of the agriculture's women of innovation with Ojalá, with the Superate program with the Dominican Republic, and Ojalá, as his work as chef, has allowed rural women to open new opportunities in more knowledgeable in their knowledge. Chef, I think you're here. It is a delight to have you here. Thank you. We're delighted to have you here with us. And we have a question for you in that which relates to the work, this wonderful work that you're carrying out with Dominican Republic. And we hope that we have high levels of scalability in the region. And the question is the following: how has this process been for the empowerment of rural women that you've been working with And what have you learned, and what would you underline in this experience that could inspire other projects in the region with this vision of scalability that you are implementing today with the Ajuala project and the overcoming of these aspects? Thank you very much for having the opportunity to be with you. I'll tell you a little bit in a summarized manner. It was a process that began 2 years ago. We're going to our third year, where we have been able to collaborate with over 50 women that are overcoming the issues. The platform is very is simple, and the dream is reachable, is that many restaurants, both local and at the international level and Latin American, can be a part of this platform, where simply we carry out creative dinners with the products that they provide us with. Not only this, they are completely involved in the process. They share with us, they bring the products, they cook with us, and they are part of the service in this restaurant. So there is a complete synergy between the restaurant, the field, agriculture, products. It is a chain that is extraordinary. I would like to give you a summary of what we do. Agriculture has provided us with input, but also it is part of the story of the traditional, valued, and visualized products. The fact that it arrives in a restaurant of prestige, it shows the quality of their work. Part of this alliance, they have been able to sell at better prices their gastronomical product, which is traceable, and the identity of each product, and it has strengthened their economy and their capacity of negotiation. Through this process, youth and women have become local leaders, inspiring others to organize themselves, to make productive decisions and go beyond the rural anonymity. Their social involvement, they are involved through alliances with the respect and the horizontability. They become profitable and creative. This model is to understand their players, their collective processes, their pros through trust. It is essential that there is a continuous training that will allow women to understand the market, tell their stories, and to be able to be rural entrepreneurs. This experience can be replicated in other regions if they adapt to local realities, promoting the different chefs, consumers that are aware with support. The result has no limits. In conclusion, these rural women shows that the development with a gender focus is powerful, can be inspiring and replicable. This can be an engine of innovation, and how cuisine can be fundamental in the promotion with purpose, with respect. It allows each ingredient to have a result. It's just a matter of time. This shows what we do. It illustrates what we do, what we have been doing for 2 years. Our objective has been that 20 restaurants in the nation can become a part of this process. This will be achieved, and it is important to underline that each time rural women and agriculturists come to our restaurants, most of the food income that arrive tonight from customers are going to the field. For all the aspects you were mentioning, everything, they are very vulnerable: transportation, education, training, in that which relates to the agriculture, the female agricultural, to be able to obtain good quality products another aspect that is very interesting, every time they bring us products, we try to find products that countervene what they bring. For example, a carrot. When they brought us carrots, we bought Parnish, and we showed them how a product that has the same conditions of cultivation and can have a higher amount of income in their own fields. We did this with tomato. Now we have more than 36 different types of tomatoes that are produced in the Dominican Republic with international awards. It's a matter of having the seeds and wanting to do it and to have a vision. Saverio, honestly, we are all extraordinarily surprised with the case that you are presenting to us. This project has an enormous scalability objective, not only in Dominican Republic and other communities, but to our entire Latin America and the Caribbean, particularly countries like ours that have a strong trend towards touristic gastronomy. There is an enormous potential there that is fundamental for the empowerment, effective empowerment of rural women. You have said it very clearly. It is the possibility of adding value and innovation and makes a difference many times with very simple resources, resources that do not require or have an enormous impact, economic impact. You can achieve this reversion of productive aspects that make it more supportive of this economic empowerment. So please stay online, because I'm sure that in the chat there must be people that trying to understand what you're trying to do in the Dominican Republic. It is a real pleasure to have you with us. And we hope that we can soon visit you to take on some of this experience, because there is no doubt that we are interested to ensure that this is scaled to other regions and that you might be, how would I say this, a leader amongst this alliance with FAO and with the programs at the national level, because you're working directly with the national government in the most important agency that is struggling with poverty. This is a vision of the future which is extremely innovative, particularly with agri-food producers, female producers. I would like to introduce Susana Romero now. She is a woman that collects native seeds and medicinal herbs. She participates in the pilot project on native forest restoration, which is developed in the framework of More Forests, or Más Bosques. And we wanted Susana to be here, so she has done this with the soil experts, that they understand the role of women that is so important, what Catalina said, in biodiversity, in sustainable practices that we are trying to promote from the regional office to the entire Latin American and Caribbean area. I have two questions for you. Why is it important to rescue medicinal herbs in our region and native seeds? And how do you take these medicinal herbs in the framework of this project, in this More Forests, Más Bosques? What is that circuit of recollection? What is the impact it has on the projects? Susana, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you very much, and good morning to all of you and to all the people we have been participating with. I am honored to represent. I am not alone. I am with the two ladies that are part of my group, Marina and Marisol, and welcome to all of them. Thank you very much. And to represent the many colleagues throughout our country. We have a great amount of colleagues that are doing this work, this beautiful activity. We are from the south, the area of Maule, but there are also collectors in Maule, another group There are in the region of Biobío, Ñuble, in the area of O'Higgins. We are women that for many years and always it is a tradition that we have carried, which is ancestral in nature, to carry out this task. We have a motto, the recollection in harmony with nature. Our work is focused on recollection of medicinal herbs, which is an average of 18 to 25 different types of herbs, including the wild herbs that are in the field, in forests that grow at the level, at the basis of the soil. In certain area, in certain times of the year, they allow us to recollect them. We recollect them, then we take them to a process. All of us do it. All the collecting women, we are many women from different parts. We do a process of dehydration and drying that we do through certain ovens. We have different types of processes in a processing room, which is done with firewood. We have large trays that allow us to dehydrate many of these herbs. We do this in winter from May to November. Then we occupy solar dehydrators, which are smaller trays. We have 36 trays, and we dehydrate them. We have fungi, fruit, vegetables, and all the different herbs that allow this summer season to collect and process. This is a beautiful work that we do, and it takes an enormous responsibility because herbs have to be very well treated from the moment we recollect them. We do a quality control process. We recollect them in green, then we then quality control in the process of drying, in that they reach the market in high level conditions. Once the dehydrated process, we have to label and package this work, and then it goes to the market. This has been strengthened and complemented, and it has generated, it has given us more security. We have had many support networks. It has allowed this process to be strengthened. To date, we have been doing this for 10 years now. Amongst these support networks that has been, just to name some, for forestries, universities, we have our own municipality here that has provided us services at the beginning. They encouraged us. We were very, very timid at the beginning. We was promoted by Madame Veronica Sala that has helped us and supported all the collectors to incur in this and involved. We also have CONAF, which is an organization that is in charge of the maintenance and conservation and preservation of forests throughout our nation. And with it, we have entered into a beautiful program called the collection, in addition to herbs, the collection of seeds. This is a beautiful work that we are very emotional when we are in the forest. But with this program with CONAF, the beautiful program that reached us, which is more forests, we have been a part of this program to reforest and reforestation of the region. We were able to create a network with other ladies, with other women of the Maule region, to be able to share our knowledge and that they might be a part of this similar entrepreneurship. With this Más Bosques or more forests, we have implemented new techniques to be able to create essential oils, aromas of the native plants. And so we have been growing and strengthening our work. Now, in reference to your question, why is it important? It's important to rescue these seeds and medicinal herbs. We believe there has to be a continuity of maintaining this work. This is an old ancestry. This is part of our ancestral background, which was created for the well-being, the health part of our intake, and to maintain our um, customs to keep for the year, to store for the year. This is work that we have done forever. Native plants. Why? Because through them there is more life in the forest after a process which is very delicate, which is done through entities of CONAF and FAO. We're able to value and go back to having new plants and creating new trees to restore the native forests that have been affected for different situations, whether droughts, illegal cutting, or fire, which has been extreme depredators of the areas, and also tackling climate change. Our work moves us from very early in the morning. We begin with a recollection program, depending on the herb that's available. And so generously, the forest provides us the fields, our own areas, our own cultivation areas. We always want to implement good practices, preserve, and may have them sustainable, not dragging them out, but rather caring for it. That this little plant is with us again on the following year. This is beautiful work that we delight in. And as I said, if it wasn't with the support of all these extraordinary organizations that have been with us, FAO, the program More Forests, and CONAF, our motivation always grows. And we are extremely enthusiastic and we're very happy to be in the forest. It is an inspiration, our work. It is our hands. It is the hands of all of us, and we love doing this work, and we're very happy when we do this with the seeds and the herbs. Thank you very much. How inspiring your words are. There is no doubt there is an element that you have brought to us by speaking to us. So many recollecting women in our Latin America in this project. I remember More Forests, Más Bosques, we had with Ana Muri, with other collective seed collecting women in Chile, and the recognition that the forest life begins with a seed. Exactly. The fact that women are those that recollect and collect these seeds and make them available to nature, giving it back to nature, and that the soils of our nation, so that forests can be restored, given the situations that we're facing with climate change, that begins to produce complexities. Uh, the work that you do is one of the functions that we have on this platform, is to continue promoting that without women, there are no possibilities of life with the care of nature, with the care of the environment is not possible without women. And here, the importance of these processes of creation of networks. As FAO, we're very committed to ensure that these processes of connection amongst yourselves and achievements that are so motivating, as you said, that will take place with other partners. We know that agri-food systems and the work that is carried out from that standpoint and how the different nations articulate is a work that FAO does with other partners. Not only FAO can do it on itself, we need you and we need all the women in the region. So I would like to close this space, but without allowing, I believe Yune had some questions and would like you to set them forth. Come from the chat. For some of you, you will have the opportunity to listen to June with what the public is stating that has been participating, and what are you asking us from the virtual world? Thank you, Susana.
Muchas gracias a todas. Gracias, Claudia. Bueno, en primer lugar, destacar el
Thank you, Claudia. First of all, thank you. I want to highlight the enthusiasm in the platform for the initiatives that have been presented. Also, we thank you for having the platform Women and Rights of the Land. Initiatives to showcase that apart from having local products, you can also empower rural women at the same time. Well, actually, the experience is unbelievable, not only professionally speaking, but also personally speaking. Having the opportunity of working with people that are actually the backbone of our cuisine, because without products, there isn't any cooking to do, and having them here, co-living with us, coexisting with us, seeing what we do, seeing how we transform that, it is a two-way street. We are mutually motivated, and anything that I could say doesn't really compare to the experience that we live with a team of farmers and agricultors and the entire team. It is so rewarding, it is so motivating, and it has been a very important partnership, and we have created a connection with them, with their environment. We've been able to understand each other, and they help you so much more than they know. They are able to offer a product with increasing quality. I have seen how the quality of the products have increased, the improvement in the harvest processes, etc., and they feel motivated themselves. It's a two-way relationship. Thank you so much. We hope that other restaurants will follow your lead. And lastly, Susana, from the audience, there is a question. How was the organization created? How do you think the work of collaboration helps empowering rural women? Thank you. Well, we started, as I mentioned earlier, we started very, very small as a group of women. We are now three, but we had more people at the beginning. But for personal reasons, we stayed and we persevered. And I think that, yes, we are rural women. We love being here. We live here. The work of collaboration has always been the most important part. I've always felt that it's important to work as a group, that everything is shared, that everybody is able to experience this, that we interact with harmony, and this work that is so connected with nature needs to be done in such a fashion. It is a beautiful work and it's a give and take. It's a work of connection, connection between people with nature. So definitely it is a work that is done based on collaboration, with each other, with the help of of other networks that are always there. Well, thank you so much, Susana. Thank you, Claudia, Ray, Adriana, Saverio, Susana. Thank you so much for sharing such an important experiences and such an inspiring experiences. And lastly, I'd like to give the floor to Maya Takaya, leader of programs of the regional office of FAO Latin America and the Caribbean, to officially launch the platform, cutting the ribbon and giving us the closing remarks. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to be with you today for the launch of this beautiful platform in which we'll be able to promote the work with the four great presentations we had. So with that, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for your participation in this event, in this very important activity. And also, I'd like to reinforce the message of our commitment as a program, of course, of the region, of FAO in the region. Our commitment to follow, to strengthen, disseminate, and use the platform that is the most important part, right? That the launch of the regional platform for us has a very important meaning because it refers to one of the key roles of FAO, which is to strengthen the capacities of the communities. And we have heard about individual, collective capacities and also institutional capacities because if we talk about women, we talk about collective groups, we talk about families, and also we talk about public policies that have to be addressed to incorporate this important component, which is strengthening equality between men and women from the empowering of women. Considering that one of the key factors for inequality in our region and in the world is inequality between men and women. And also, the platform promotes a key activity that the FAO is trying to promote, which is innovation. Innovation in terms of exchanges between communities, using technologies, digitalization, and to put all the tools at the availability of women in their individual lives, in their private lives, but also in their work lives, in their professional lives, in their political participation too, and in how they engage with the territories mainly. I want to thank you for sharing good practices because these are signs that the transformation is possible and also that the initiatives are feasible, they are scalable, and they are replicable, and they have to be articulated. And this is yet another objective of the platform. We need to systematize, disseminate, and scale up successful experiences of economic, political, and social empowerment, as well as public policies that pave the way forward towards more equality, of course, in the rural environment, but in a rural environment which is more and more connected to the urban areas, and a rural environment that is not willing to be left behind. It is growing, it is becoming more dynamic, and women definitely are key, and we want to give them the necessary visibility. So the platform here meets this urgent need for providing visibility and tools that, in one way or another, promote the comprehensive participation of women and also their empowerment because they work at the personal, collective, and institutional level. And in the commitments that we have undertaken for the International Year of Female Farmers that will be held next year, this is one of the first commitments that we have, which is a platform, which is part of what the platform wants to do. It is giving visibility and continue to promote instances for systematization and exchange of knowledge. We, of course, want to invite the governments to use the platform as an input and to guide their actions, commitments, and policies to further strengthen their own technical capabilities through the training resources available to further contribute to this ecosystem of sharing knowledge, innovation, and actions. From FAO, as I mentioned earlier, we reaffirm our commitment to continue working in close collaboration with the states, the civil society, the private sector, as well as other strategic stakeholders, other agencies of the UN, to make sure that the tool continues to be useful and impactful over the lives of rural women in our region and in the world. Without further ado, we are going to symbolically cut the ribbon and officially launch the platform. We are going to do the online cutting of the ribbon. This is a first for me, but we will continue to innovate jointly with the enthusiasm and the responsibility, of course. Now I officially declare the platform for the empowerment of rural women officially open. Please let's watch the video of the ribbon. The platform is available now.
A todos que participaron
With that, thank
activamente
you
en
so
la
much
creación
for
de
your
esta
active
plataforma, el equipo
participation.
aquí, Claudia,
Thank you for working on the
Catalina,
platform.
todo
Thank
el
you to the
equipo de
team,
género, todos
Claudia,
nuestros puntos
Catalina,
focales de
the
género,
entire team of
también de
gender,
las oficinas
all
de
the focal points of the different offices of FAO. Thank you to our colleagues from communications. Thank you for their support and the support of IT. Without them, it would have been impossible to do this cut of the ribbon online. Have a great afternoon, have a great day, and let's continue moving forward towards the empowerment of rural women. Thank you, everyone, and see you soon.